My old setting. Been a little while, but finally, we can finally get things back with it. Let's see if things are live right over here. Yes, finally. It's been a little while, but we can finally go ahead and get things started. It looks like the chat wall seems to be prepared. Yes, we are live. We are good to go, so we might as well begin. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. I know it's been a little while, but I am finally back from my vacation, and I can tell you guys that I'm all tammed up, I am all relaxed, and it feels great to be back. You know, honestly, the reason why I went on my vacation is to pretty much relieve from some stress, because, like, before I went on vacation, it was just, I had so many things piled up all at once, and then suddenly, once I took my vacation, I mostly spent my days just relaxing by the beach, and it felt fantastic. It felt great. Now that I have returned here, I feel refreshed, I feel relaxed, and I can get back to my stuff in peace, and I can get back to AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast, bringing you all the latest news that has happened in the animation world and even beyond this week. So, it is wonderful to be back, and hopefully you guys are ready. Hopefully you did not miss AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast too much. I mean, I did give you that little bonus episode last week all about the Oscars, so I have already covered that. But anyways, with all that said and done, now that I have officially returned, we might as well go ahead and get things started. So guys, let me ask you all in the chat wall, are you all ready for the return of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast? Let me hear it, folks. Alright, let's see now. Okay, let's see. Do we have... Yes, alright. People, yeah. Oh, and by the way, guys, I know that there have been things that have been announced last week, but I'm not going to be covering those. I'm just going to be covering some of the major news that has happened this week, because I already see in the chat wall where people are like, AniMat, you gotta talk about this, AniMat, you gotta talk about that, but no. I got my stories ready. They will be related to stuff that has happened this week. But anyways, with all that said, it looks like people are prepared and all set to get things started, and we are ready to talk about our first big story. And this is one of the biggest movie news that has happened this week, because now things actually seem to be pretty unexpected when it comes to Disney's movies of this year. Many people, including myself, have already stated before that 2019 is definitely going to be Disney's year, with some of their biggest movies coming out, including Avengers Endgame, Star Wars Episode 9, and already, Captain Marvel is making a big blast in theaters. And then, of course, we got the Disney live-action remakes. Oh, and of course, like, the animated stuff as well, like Toy Story 4 and Frozen 2. But with the live-action remakes, we already got some major stuff like Dumbo, Aladdin, and The Lion King. But right out of the blue, it looks like another one is going to be coming in this year. This has long been announced, but it looks like we're getting this one much sooner than expected. And I'm talking about the sequel to Maleficent. Yes, folks, this week Disney has officially revealed that they are going to be moving up the release date of Maleficent 2. Originally, it was supposed to be released on May 29th, 2020. But somehow, for some reason, it hasn't been disclosed as to why they decided to do this move, but they decided to bump up the release date by approximately 7 months, where it went from May 29, 2020, all the way up to October 18th of this year. Reading from my source in Variety, that means that the new date pits Maleficent 2 against an untitled film from horror maker Blumhouse, and it will also have to contend with these... Ooh, excuse me. I had a little smoothie, so that's just coming out right there. But anyways, back to what I was talking about. It will also have to contend with the second weekend of The Addams Family, the adaptation of Donna Tartt's The Goldfinch, Zombieland 2, and Gemini Man, a futuristic thriller that unites Will Smith and Ang Lee. And apparently, on top of that, in its original release date, it looks like it had some major contenders during that time. So part of it could be to escape some of those movies, since they are highly anticipated, including the third SpongeBob SquarePants movie and Fast and Furious 9, which Maleficent 2 would have been released during the sophomore weekends of those feature films, like Fast and Furious and SpongeBob. But now Maleficent will be facing a lot of these other feature films as well, like directly against a Blumhouse film, but also the second weekend of other movies like Zombieland 2, Addams Family, Gemini Man, and all that kind of stuff. So maybe this will mix things up at the box office during the month of October, but I guess we will have to wait and see with what's going to be going on with that. But that is not the only thing that Disney has announced regarding this movie, because at the same time, Disney also put out a teaser poster of Maleficent 2, where we just see a bit of a shadow. Well, not necessarily a shadow, but we see a little bit of Angelina Jolie as Maleficent, and it also features a brand new title for this movie, where it is going to be called Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. Because as we know, Maleficent is definitely the mistress of all evil, but in this case, well, I'm going to get back to that a little later, because I just want to go ahead and start things off by discussing about, quickly, my opinion on the first Maleficent movie. I remember seeing it back when it was first released in theaters, and a lot of people would even credit Maleficent as the one that really started this whole trend of Disney live-action remakes. Debatably, I would say that it is because of the 2010 Alice in Wonderland movie by Tim Burton, but this definitely is the first one where it was obviously and directly based on one of Disney's older animated features, which in this case is the 1959 film Sleeping Beauty. That's where they got their inspiration, obviously. And from there, I would say that when it comes to Maleficent in itself, there are some good things that can be said about it. There are some good traits. Like, the visual effects are actually pretty good. They do have some interesting looking creatures. The sets actually do look great, and visually, it is a nice looking feature film. That, and also, Angelina Jolie is actually great as Maleficent. She is, she's like a great actress, and probably the best casting that you can do to actually play as Maleficent. She actually nailed that performance very well. However, my positives on that movie would end off right there, because other than that, everything else about the feature is just pure frickin' garbage. In fact, I would even go as far as say that Maleficent is one of, if not the worst, of the Disney live-action remakes that we actually got so far. Because number one, the writing is absolute garbage. Like, honestly, it's very difficult to find even one good thing regarding the story, the development of its characters, or even just the writing in general. It's just a mess. The script is just a pure freaking disaster. In fact, it is literally the definition of taking the original animated film, completely crapping on it, and just pass it off as a brand new script right over there. It's just literally butchering and destroying what was originally set up in the 1959 film. It was honestly a bit humiliating on Disney's end. But even if you look past the adaptation of the animated feature, even if you don't look at it as something based on the 1959 film, the original story in itself that Maleficent presented, it's just a mess. It really is poorly executed, poorly structured. It's just nothing in itself, even on its own terms, nothing about it really went right. And if that's not bad enough, even though Angelina Jolie is a great actress in this movie, everyone else, holy crap, the acting is just all over the place. You either got actors that would be overacting, where you got King Stefan in this movie, who's like one of Disney's most cartoony villains, much more than their actual cartoon villains, and then you got actors that are also underacting, like Elle Fanning as Aurora. I mean, seriously, Like, with Elle Fanning in that movie, she has the freaking acting range of a freaking plank of wood. Yeah, say what you will about the animated version of Aurora, but at least she did a whole lot more and expressed more human emotions than Elle Fanning ever would in that film. Seriously, it's just, holy crap, it really is a mess of a movie. It had a lot of great potential. I mean, a movie based on one of Disney's most beloved villains and most acclaimed villains, that would have been great, but man, they could not have executed much worse than this. Or, well, okay, that's not true. Maybe it could have been worse, but in this case right over here, holy crap, it really did turned out to be a mess. And with all that said and done, I might as well go ahead and start things off by pointing out something that people are freaking out about, and it's actually the fact that right now, Disney has a total of 4 big budget live action remakes that are going to be coming up in 2019 alone. Now, there's got to be a reason. It cannot just be because of the release date. It's like, oh, this is more convenient to put it here instead of like somewhere else. Like, there's gotta be a major reason, especially when it's moving up 7 months, more than half a year than what was originally released. There's gotta be something that is going on, and it's not, and I wouldn't even say that it's just because, oh, well, production is going so well that they might as well bump up the release date. It couldn't be just that. I think, honestly, there's gotta be something within Disney where they knew that there's some kind of direction that is going on within the Disney live action remakes. Maybe like we are at the point where they're at their tail end, because you guys have seen the poor reception that the recent trailer of Aladdin got, which first revealed that blue Will Smith genie. So maybe they're trying to like milk out the most that they can in terms of the Disney live action remakes by putting them all in 1 year, and pretty soon we will see it be over. Like, who knows, maybe next year with Mulan or something like that, that's going to be the last of the Disney live action remakes. Now, keep in mind, I'm not saying this as fact, this is only just a theory. Now, maybe I'm completely wrong about this, but I just feel like there's gotta be some kind of reason why Disney decided to do this. Why put in Maleficent 2 with all the other Disney live action remakes? Like, you'd think that this would honestly cause a bit of franchise fatigue, and this could end up screwing Disney over. Like, maybe we're gonna see the first Disney live action remake that's going to legitimately lose money. It could be somewhere in the lines of something like Alice Through the Looking Glass. So, who knows why they would go and do this, but honestly, I look at this and I just feel like, yeah, something is up. Disney is doing this for a reason, and they're not clear as to why, but it is definitely such a strange move where Disney now, they are literally bombarding us with all these live action remakes one after another, and you think, like, these are massively high profile movies. Like, these are films that Disney is going to try to hype them up as much as Endgame or Episode 9. So, who knows what Disney is trying to pull off with this, or if this is either some kind of move related to the Disney live action remakes or something like that. But I just do find this to be a bit strange, where it almost feels like Disney really is putting all their eggs in one basket when it comes to these Disney live action remakes. And rather, if this is going to be a good thing for Disney, maybe they'll benefit for this year. Either that, or maybe like it's going to screw them over. Honestly, at that point, we'll just have to wait and see. However, with that said and done, okay, the thing is, with this one, when this got announced with Maleficent 2, honestly, it's not necessarily the fact that the release date is something that really caught my attention the most. It's actually related to something else that I saw, and I was like, you've got to be freaking kidding me. Because I'm going to say right now, I don't think there has ever been a movie that I felt so offended about just by its title alone. Like, I would first see the title, and I would legit get upset. And the reason why I feel this way is the fact that it legit calls itself Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. Like, are you freaking kidding me, Disney? Okay, I know it sounds weird, and yeah, it does sound kind of stupid that I would get riled up over a godforsaken title, but hear me out, because honestly, it just doesn't make sense to me why they would do this. Because here's the thing. Okay, yes, we know Maleficent as one of Disney's most popular villains ever. And even in the animated film, she would even call herself the Mistress of All Evil. But this is not the case with this Maleficent. The Mistress of All Evil, that's the animated Maleficent. This one, however, in the first movie, Disney tried their hardest in order to get rid of any and all evil elements in order to make Maleficent look like the good guy, to make her look like the misunderstood hero of this entire story, to make her sympathetic, not someone to fear for, but not fear for, but to fear at, but someone to sympathize. It's like, oh, she's misunderstood. She's actually the good guy, and everyone else is the godforsaken bad guy in this case. Like, they tried so hard, even down to the point of turning King Stefan into godforsaken Yosemite Sam going, racket, fracket, Maleficent, like going all insane, and even to the point, and if that's not enough proof that they made Maleficent the good guy, you gotta keep in mind that in Maleficent, she is the one who would kiss the Sleeping Beauty to wake her up from the eternal slumber. Even though she's technically the one who set the curse upon her, she would be the one to kiss her, not necessarily on the lips, but on the forehead. She would kiss her to wake her up from her slumber. That is the definitive proof that she is the hero. And even down to the point that they decided to opt out what could be her most popular trait is the fact that she would turn into a dragon. Like, we didn't even get that. It had to be her crow assistant that would transform into a dragon. No, she can't turn into a dragon because that would be scary. That's what villains would do. She's not a villain. No, instead, at the end of the movie, we gotta turn her into Zero Suit Samus with wings and horns. That's what you gotta do for this Maleficent, because that's much more of a heroic figure, much more than turning into a godforsaken dragon. So that's the thing. In the first Maleficent, they tried their freaking hardest in order to make her the good guy, the hero, the one that people should be rooting for, the one who kisses the Sleeping Beauty to wake her up. And yet, in the sequel, you have the nerve, you have the freaking balls to call her the Mistress of All Evil, to still promote her, to still market your Maleficent, the Angelina Jolie Maleficent, as a villain. You're still going towards that direction. Disney, do you think I'm stupid? Do you think Maleficent fans are stupid? Are you freaking kidding me with this godforsaken move? Like, Disney, I love you with all my heart. I will forever be a Disney fan, but stuff like this, like, do you think, like, why would you do you really think I'm that stupid? Do you think I completely forgot about the 2014 movie? Do you think I forgot about the first Maleficent? Now, granted, I don't necessarily blame you there because, yeah, Maleficent in itself, yeah, it is a pretty forgettable movie at best and stuff like that, but still, man, just within its context, you're still gonna try to promote Maleficent as if she's a villain. As if everybody forgot about the 2014 movie and we still view Maleficent as the bad guy, as the villain of all Disney villains. You're still going in that direction with this Angelina Jolie Maleficent. Are you freaking kidding me? I mean, granted, I don't necessarily know much about what else is going to be happening in this movie. We have yet to really see any form of a trailer of it. I don't know if we even got a plot regarding Maleficent 2. We don't know if, we don't know what the story is going to be about. We don't know if Maleficent is going to be going back in her villain roots or something like that. I don't know. Maybe there is a reason for having this to be called Mistress of Evil, but still, in terms of the context right now, I just feel legitimately insulted. The fact that they're still going at it, still trying to promote her as a villain, even though the purpose of the first movie is to try to annihilate that context, to make people stop saying that she is the Mistress of Evil, and then suddenly you go back into that. It's ridiculous. Honestly, it's like, why would you do that, Disney? Why would you frickin' do that? Now, honestly, I'm insulted now. Maybe you do have a purpose. Hopefully, you'll have a good idea with this. But for now, I'm just godforsaken insulted. And honestly, because of that, and because of how the first movie was, I would honestly say that among all the Disney live-action remakes we're going to get this year, this is my least anticipated one. Now, granted, some people will say that, well, they're like, people would be anticipated for none of them, but in this case right over here, like, this one, I feel like I have too much evidence that shows me that, yeah, there's no signs for me to be excited about this one, that, oh, maybe this one will correct the error of their ways and maybe improve on some of the others' acting, or maybe they'll do more justice to Maleficent. Nah, honestly, I don't really see much signs of that, especially when you are bringing back one of the writers of the first movie onto this, like you're bringing back Linda Wolverton. In this case here, it's just, nah, like, I was about to say, I don't know, but, like, at this point, I'm like, nah, man, I'm just, nah. That's all I can say. It's just really, nah. I am not that excited for this at all. I just feel like this is just something that, oh my god, I'm definitely not excited for. So I don't know how this is going to be, but yeah, this is not going well so far. Let me tell you that. And especially, like, we'll have to wait and see on this, but considering, again, that this is the year when we are going to get 3 other Disney live-action remakes before this one, I don't know how audiences are going to react to this one. If even audiences would actually want a Maleficent 2 in the first place. I mean, nobody wanted a sequel to the 2010 Alice in Wonderland, so maybe the same thing will happen here. I have no freaking clue, but if you guys are still curious to go and check this one out, the movie will be released on October 18th of this year. So mark your calendars if this is something that you want, maybe? I have no godforsaken idea. But anyways, with all that said and done, let's go ahead into the chat wall, and I would like to ask you guys, what do you all think about Maleficent 2? About Maleficent, Mistress of Evil. What do you guys think about the title? What do you guys think about the fact that it's going to be released pretty soon, in several months at this point? I would say in about 7 months, actually. So it's not going to be more than a year. It's going to be in 7 months. So what do you all think? Let me know in the chat wall. All right. Holy crap. We got a lot of people. Oh, boy. Wow. People have already expressed their opinion. So, oh, boy. I got to fish out to see which ones people would say. All right. Anyways, let's go ahead and start this. 4 Disney live-action remakes, 5 if we would count Lady and the Tramp on Disney+. Oh, that is true. Is way too excessive for the average consumer, and just shows how desperately Disney is trying to cash in on their popular trend. With this much in 2019, there has to be at least one that will flop at the box office, and I think Maleficent 2 might be one of those, in the same vein as Alice in Looking Glass. Or maybe Disney is trying to get as much blockbusters as possible for the Disney Plus launch. Well, if it really... Actually... No, you know what? Maybe you do have a point. That you know, you do bring up a very interesting point about the factor of Disney Plus, is that, like, recently, if you guys haven't heard, apparently Disney is going to break out the Disney Vault, and they have stated that eventually all of their movies are going to be in the Disney vault. So that could be the case, but still, they would be in need to have a whole bunch of like some of the more recent films to be highly featured in there. So maybe that could be the strategy. I know that for the case of Disney Plus, that's their next biggest thing that they want to try to bring out. Like this is Bob Iger's next biggest project that he has developed since Shanghai Disneyland. So maybe this is more of a strategy, less to bring it out in theaters and more to have more material in order to highly display for Disney Plus. So you do bring up a very good point. That could be a very good theory right there. Let's see, who else do we got? Just want to double check. All right. I'm not sure whether or not Maleficent was one of the worst Disney remakes, but this could top it in the level of stupidity. Judging by the title, it looks like the film is going to rip the consistency of the 2014 film to shreds and pretend it never happened to begin with. But let's be real for a sec. I think we know why this was moved ahead of time, because the executives who made the decision is godforsaken Mr. Krabs. Mr. Krabs, why did you decide to go and release 4 Disney live-action remakes in 1 year instead of just going 1 or 2? It's because of money. Man, yeah, it's because it's Mr. Krabs. Mr. Krabs decided to quit Nickelodeon and move management to Disney because Disney's making more money, so why the fridge not? Make a few Krabby Patties at Disneyland. Gonna settle up in some Krusty Krabs at the freaking New Orleans Square, or maybe in Disney Springs at Disney World. Who knows, but Mr. Krabs is just following the money. All right. Let's see now. Do we have anything else? Oh, and let's see now. This, and I don't know. I actually do like that Maleficent movie with Angelina Jolie. Oh, hold on. I kind of read that wrong. This and I don't know. I actually do like the Maleficent movie. Like, Angelina Jolie did great and very action-packed. But personally, never got to top the other films like Christopher Robin or The Jungle Book. I would possibly take Aladdin if they don't ruin the song. It's good to me. Even to the fact that it has a completely different plot of the original film, but I will take this. Oops, excuse me. But I will take this over any Alice film any day. Okay, that's interesting. Do we have any others? When I heard about the sequel announcement and pushed to October, I was pissed about this because the first one was terrible, and I do not want to see a sequel to this one. I would pretty much rather see Zombieland 2, since that one of the sequels that I am anticipated for. That's it. Also, damn, I never see you got angry this much with Disney before. We'll go on full rant by the time this movie comes out. Well, the full rant, I'm just going to say, that will depend on how the movie is going to be. If it's a piece of crap, then maybe, but yeah, you do bring up a good point. It is very rare that I would get mad over Disney. Yeah, there's always a first for everything. All right, let's see. Could you imagine DreamWorks making a How to Train Your Dragon spin-off focusing on someone like Drago or Grimmel and trying to make them sympathetic? No, of course you wouldn't. The series ended anyway, so what's Disney's excuse? Oh my god. Now you're just giving me the idea of Hiccup going like completely insane as much as King Stefan in Maleficent. We gotta find Drago. I'm not gonna do anything unless we find Drago. Shut up, Toothless! We need to go and take down the dragon leader! I'm the alpha dragon! No! I know I'm not a dragon, but I'm the alpha dragon! Ah! Oh my god. Like, just imagine, like, really. Like, the first Maleficent is one of the weirdest movies when it comes to readapting one of their characters. Like, how the frick do you take a simple side character like King Stefan from Sleeping Beauty and turn him into a freaking maniac? It's just so weird, honestly. Oh boy, but seriously though, I think we would be here forever talking about this. And now we shall go and move on to our next story. Now, it wouldn't necessarily seem much at first, but really, this is a story that from the following days, it grew to have so many layers, and even without that, I still believe that this is a very interesting story worth talking about, because you never know if this could actually make a giant impact in the industry. In fact, specifically towards these channels. And what I'm talking about is actually going to be the new plan for Warner Brothers and the development of their brand new global kids and young adult division. So what happened was that on Monday, WarnerMedia has announced that they decided to make a big restructuring plan, and this would also include their animated programs and their family-friendly programs as well. And it even stated right over here, which I'm going to read from my source in Animation World Network, as it says that the new organizational and management structure combines the family, kids, and animation efforts from across WarnerMedia, including Cartoon Network, Adult Swim, and Boomerang, into a single global kids and young adults division to be overseen by Warner Brothers CEO Kevin Tsujihara. Joining Warner Brothers Looney Tunes and Hanna-Barbera libraries, the new division will also comprise of Otter Media and Turner Classic Movies, as well as all consumer products licensing activities for Warner Media properties. So basically, what they are doing right over here is that the CEO of Warner Brothers, Kevin Tsujihara, is now going to be in charge of looking into all the media that is related to animation, related to kids programming, and related to basically all that kind of stuff. Yeah, like animation and family-friendly programs. I don't know what else to add in there. Well, of course, with the other additional stuff like Otter Media and Turner Classic Movies, because beforehand, the only ones that they directly have control of is Warner Animation Group and also Warner Brothers Animation. Like, those were the only ones that they have direct contact with, but now with this new merger, maybe they will have a little more contact with those elements as well. I will get back to that later because on top of that, on Monday, Tsujihara released a letter to the employees at Warner Brothers stating about this new division and this new restructuring. So from there, let me go ahead and go and read this to you guys. So... Dear colleagues, first I'd like to welcome our colleagues at Cartoon Network, Boomerang, Adult Swim, TCM, and Otter Media to the global Warner Brothers family. I hope everyone has had the opportunity to read John Stankey's message for this morning regarding some very important organizational changes that are redefining our parent company, WarnerMedia. While change is never easy, a realigned WarnerMedia will be better positioned, better resourced, and better able to compete on all fronts. We are literally entering a new chapter in our company's history. I've known and worked with Bob Greenblatt throughout the years, and I'm looking forward to working with him and the newly combined WarnerMedia Entertainment to fully maximize our company's assets and efforts. Here at Warner Brothers, incorporating Cartoon Network, Boomerang, and Adult Swim into the company will truly make kids, young adult animation a fundamental pillar of our business. The newly combined operation will allow us to take an integrated global approach to all our kids and animation businesses, TV, film, games, consumer products, like never before, using companies' IP, talent, and legacies to create an animation powerhouse. Turner Classic Movies is also a natural fit with Warner Brothers, given we have the largest and most valuable film library in the business. Partnering TCM and Warner Brothers will help us give fans more of what they want in new and exciting ways, while building on studio's almost 100-year history as a leader in film entertainment. So, with that said, basically the big thing that I noticed from this is actually the fact that this is a power move. Like, basically the best way to summarize this up is that this is a power move so that Warner Brothers can have much more control and have much more of a say in terms of the programs that would be released under their wings. I've already said that they've already got Warner Animation Group and also Warner Brothers Animation, but now they want to have a little bit more of a say in terms of what's going to be coming out in Adult Swim, on Cartoon Network, and even onto Boomerang. I have heard that they want to try to push a little bit more in terms of the content for Looney Tunes and Hanna-Barbera. In fact, last week we have heard about the news related to Scooby-Doo, the animated feature of Scooby-Doo, which they want to try to they want to try to reboot the Hanna-Barbera franchise in a way, because with Scooby-Doo, it's not only going to be featuring Scooby and the gang, but it would also feature Captain Caveman, which will be voiced by Tracy Morgan. Yes, that is going to legitimately be a thing. But going back into this, I do feel like this is more of a decision that they want to have more power into it, and Warner Brothers, they want to have more control into what's going to be happening in the animation field, especially with Cartoon Network and Adult Swim, so that they could be much more present as a powerhouse, both in animation, and especially with this move, they want to try to make it more of a powerhouse in terms of television animation, that they really want to make more of an impact, more of a punch, and they want to have more of a say in terms of their television animation program. So who knows, maybe in the future, this could possibly affect how Cartoon Network is going to be. It's going to affect how Adult Swim is going to be. I'm not saying that the creators in both those channels, that they're going to be losing creative control or anything like that, but I think I think what this is to make sure that stuff like Cartoon Network and Adult Swim and Boomerang and all that kind of stuff, they really want to try to emphasize more the Warner Brothers brand. Now, I know, guys, this plot, I know that with this story right over here, you guys might think that, it's kind of boring, it's not really that interesting, worth talking about, but this isn't the interesting thing to discuss about. Oh man, because with this, wow, this is the part I'm going to say right now. This is where it gets crazy. Oh yeah, there is an element about this that is just truly insane. Because, okay, this thing was released on Monday. 2 days later, let me read you this article from, well, not the entire article, but the title of this article from Variety. Warner Brothers CEO Kevin Tsujihara under investigation for allegation of sexual impropriety. Yes, folks. Oh, it looks like Kevin Tsujihara is going to be taking care of the animation business as Warner Brothers. Whoops. Nope. Hashtag Me Too coming in. Looks like there's a major scandal with this guy right over here. I kid you not. Like, the announcement here was done on March 4th on Monday. This news broke out on March 6th on Wednesday. You cannot make this timing up. But anyways, with that said, going into this here, basically to summarize this up, this actually all started with this massive article that is brought in by The Hollywood Reporter, which is called I Need to Be Careful, Text Reveal Warner Brothers CEO Promoted Actress Amid Apparent Sexual Relationship, where I guess you could say this is a little bit of a mix of a hashtag Me Too movement and a scandal, where basically behind the scenes, it looks like Kevin Tsujihara had this long relationship with actress Charlotte Kirk, where in exchange for sex, then she would actually be able to get some big roles in some major Warner Brothers movies. And this actually started like a while back, apparently like a few years ago, I think 5 years ago, when she actually met up with the guys from the company Rat Pack, with Brett Ratner and James Packer, and then they introduced her to Kevin Tsujihara, and then from there, that's when the scandal started to come in, where if she wants to get a big role, then she would have to have sex with Kevin Tsujihara. So this is the type of scandal that some people would refer to as the casting couch kind of business. It is very controversial. It's very looked down upon. And it's just purely messed up. And right now, WarnerMedia is currently doing a massive investigation to check out if there is anything more to this story. Kevin Tsujihara agreed to try to collaborate as much as he can, but things are looking pretty bad, especially with all the texts that have been revealed. Just one example, there's this one crazy example that was shown here in the Hollywood Reporter, where I think it is from Charlotte Kirk. This is from her phone last year. No, not last year. In March of 2015, where she would be texting Kevin Tsujihara, "Kevin, how's it going? Oh, you're very busy, I know, but when we were in that motel having sex, you said you would help me, and when you just ignored me like you're doing now, it makes me feel used. Are you going to help me like you said you would? Oh, sorry you feel that way. Richard will be reaching out to you tonight. Thank you, Kevin." And then suddenly, "Hi, Kevin. Richard invited me to self-tape. I just sent to you both." So yeah, that's the kind of scandal. And yes, by the way, Kevin Tsujihara is a married man, not to Charlotte Kirk though. Oh my god, this is truly insane what is going on. It's just honestly, I think honestly the crazy aspect is just the pure timing of it all. Like, Warner Brothers and WarnerMedia decided, okay, so we're going to be restructuring everything and we're going to put Kevin Tsujihara in charge. Well, I think he's going to do a great job. It's not like he's going to be like, he's not John Lasseter. I mean, what could go wrong? Oops! Okay, oh my god. In all seriousness, though, I know that this is a very serious case. I know that this is something that is no laughing matter, and yeah, I do understand when people say that Kevin Tsujihara is most certainly abusing his power, where he is exchanging sex in order to give this actress some roles, in order to get gigs and stuff like that. Like, yeah, there's a lot of shady crap going on, but I just can't help but feel like the timing of this is nearly comical. You can't make this crap up that one day, oh, you're going to be in a new position where you're going to be taking charge of the animation, and then suddenly you gotta deal with this. Like, holy crap. I do feel bad for Warner Brothers that they are in this position, especially with the fact that this is happening. Like, this guy is their CEO, for God's sakes. So maybe in the future, like, if any more has been developed, I guess we would have to wait and see. But if there is a chance that more has been uncovered, then yeah, don't expect Kevin Tsujihara being in charge of what's going on with the animation division of Warner Brothers. If anything, I don't know what's going to be happening. Maybe in the future we'll see, like, Christina Miller getting a promotion or something like that. But yeah, honestly, Kevin Tsujihara's future, it's not looking well. Yeah, I mean, those sex with Charlotte Kirk, it doesn't look like it's worth it anymore. It's purely freaking crazy, this scenario. So hopefully you guys do understand why I had to highlight this in this episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. It's just, honestly, it's like, okay, this looks interesting. This seems fine. Oops, well, this is pretty much happening. Holy freaking crap. I kid you not, guys. This is just, like, this story is just nuts. We'll have to wait and see in the future with what's going to be going on. Maybe Kevin Tsujihara is going to keep his job. Maybe he's going to be out of there, but man, this is just purely crazy to highlight. It's just, I don't know what else to say. It's just crazy. Okay, so with all that said and done, let's go ahead into the chat wall right over here. And I want to know from you guys, what do you all think about this news over here? What do you think about the new division of kids and young adults? And what do you think about how Kevin Tsujihara is gonna go? Let me know what you guys think. I know it's nuts, but well, let's see what you think, guys. Okay. Let's see. I'm worried about the decision for the Turner Company. It might cause a Cartoon Network show or something owned by Turner to have drastic changes. I mean, when the Warner Brothers converted into the CW television network, this has had a drastic change, or at least on one show, Johnny Test. The first season was in traditional animation, but after the Warner Brothers turning into CW, it shifted to Flash. It's one reason a lot of people hated Johnny Test after the first season. That could be possible, and I do get why like people would hate Johnny Test for that, or like I think there are several reasons why people don't even like Johnny Test to begin with. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if this can affect not only future shows, but even some of the current shows. Like, you never know if something might actually happen with something like Steven Universe or We Bare Bears or something like that. So that could be something that you might have to keep an eye on. Let's see now. I was honestly interested to see what Tsujihara had to offer for the Warners, but it really took me by surprise when it was all, oh hey, I got a job. Yeet! Watch out, Spots boys! We got a history of Harvey Weinstein stuff right here! I understand that this is highly serious, but I'm sorry, this is just laughable in the best way possible. I mean, like, there's no other way that you can express this, because, like, honestly, laughter is the only way that you can express your feelings in this situation, mainly because of the timing of it all. The fact that this guy got promoted to a new job, this guy is taking on this new division and looking at not just Warner Brothers, but like everything that's going on with its animation, and then suddenly this happens. It's just insane. I mean, how else can you react but to godforsaken laugh in terms of its timing? I know, like, the situation is very serious, but still, it's like, one day it's like, oh boy, I'm gonna start my new job. Oops. Oh yeah, all that stuff happened. Crap, they know about what I've been doing with Charlotte. Crap. Oh boy. It's been real nuts. Let's see. Oops, his mistake. How is this possible? This has got to be a bad move from Warner Brothers and over decision. I just hope Blade Runner doesn't get axed. Yeah, well, honestly, this is a bit unexpected. Like, Warner Brothers did not know about this. It was only revealed because of this Hollywood Reporter article. And from there, it's just like, uh-oh, we gotta do something about this. So it is great that Warner's is actually going to be doing a serious investigation and try to see what else is going on in order to get more answers about this. But honestly, I don't blame Warner Brothers. It's not necessarily their fault. They didn't know about this. It's just, this came out of nowhere, and just the timing of it is just absolutely strange here. Okay, so with that said and done, I'm pretty much good with this story right over here. And right now, we're going to be jumping into another story that, sadly, this is not much of a laughing matter. This is a little bit more serious. In fact, this could probably be the most controversial story of this episode in particular. I know I've covered a whole bunch of controversial stories here, but at least for this episode, we're about to embark on some pretty controversial territory. And this is going to be related to a recent documentary that maybe you guys have heard about, but right now we are seeing some massive consequences from it. And what I'm talking about, of course, is going to be about The Simpsons. Now, if you guys haven't heard, recently The Simpsons has revealed that they are going to be putting a massive ban on the episode Stark Raving Dad, which is the episode that is noted to be the one that features special guest Michael Jackson. Now, for those of you who don't necessarily know what this episode is about, let me just read you the synopsis of what this is all about through my source here in Variety, stating, in this episode, Jackson voiced the character Leon Kompowski, who meets Homer Simpson in a mental institution. Simpson brings home the character, a large white man who claims to be Michael Jackson. Ultimately, Leon helps Bart Simpson to celebrate his sister's birthday by singing one of the show's most memorable tunes, Happy Birthday, Lisa. Jackson didn't actually sing on the episode. Kip Lennon mimicked Jackson's voice on all the episode songs. So the thing is that even though he wasn't necessarily credited, it actually is Michael Jackson providing his voice. It used to be a rumor for a long time, but then it was actually confirmed that, yeah, it definitely was Michael doing it. And from there, Because recently there was a new documentary that came out. It premiered on Sundance, and then suddenly this week it had its premiere in HBO. And that one, what I'm referring to, is the documentary Leaving Neverland. And this one is a bombshell of a documentary. It is 4 hours long, which takes a look at two guys whom, when they were kids, they used to always hang out with Michael Jackson, and allegedly, Michael Jackson would actually sleep with them, and thus began the controversy of Michael Jackson being a pedophile, that he likes to sleep with underage boys. So, yeah, that's where that whole mess would go. And going back into the episode of The Simpsons, recently, the producers actually saw this documentary, and they were actually pretty unanimous with this decision. Quoting James L. Brooks here, he stated that it feels clearly the only choice to make. He would talk with Matt Groening and Al Jean about this, and he said, the guys I work with, where we spent our lives arguing over jokes, were one-minded on this. He would continue on by saying that this was a treasured episode. There are a lot of great memories we have wrapped up in that one, but this certainly doesn't allow them to remain. And on top of that, also one more quote that he would say is, I'm against book burning of any kind, but this is our book, and we're allowed to take out a chapter. And from there, they have stated that they're going to make sure to get rid of this episode in any and all platforms. They're going to be getting rid of it on any television syndication. They're going to be getting rid of it on their on-demand service, Simpsons World, and even future reissues of its DVD sets. So they're really going to go far to really get rid of this episode because of its connection with Michael Jackson. And I gotta say right now, in terms of the element of The Simpsons, this really did, honestly, this really does say a lot about the fact that The Simpsons would actually go this far and actually get rid of a whole episode. Because honestly, you gotta keep in mind, this is The Simpsons right now, they're just fresh out of their controversy with Apu. Like, you remember when Apu was such a big deal and people would talk about how Apu would be this stereotype towards Southern Asians, and that became a whole flame war on the internet and all that kind of stuff. Like, this was something that the creators of The Simpsons, like, they would look at this controversy and they would just try to brush it off. Like, they didn't do anything about it. Apu is still in new episodes and stuff like that. Apu, like, they're still airing episodes that would feature Apu. And they would look at it and, like, they didn't even want to talk about it. They felt like it was more of an annoying nuisance where they would say, like, come on, man. This is just absolutely stupid. I mean, this is PC culture going way too far. Apu is not that bad of a character. Come on. You guys are just over-exaggerating this. So imagine, they're just fresh off of going through all that. And then you got this Michael Jackson scenario where after watching the documentary, they all decided, yeah, this thing has got to go. We got to get rid of this, like, everywhere. It really does say a lot about this whole controversy right over here. And honestly, it is kind of crazy about the factor that because of this documentary, it really brings up the controversy to a new chapter. Like, we're seeing it feeling fresh, feeling like something is worth talking about all over again. Because you got to keep in mind about the whole case with Michael Jackson that this is not something new. This is not something that's just been discovered. This isn't something that, Leaving Neverland is bringing in something like shocking. It was like, oh, this is the side of Michael Jackson that you never knew about. No. This is something that people knew about for many years and has been widely reported. This is not the first time that the Michael Jackson allegations have been the subject of controversy or kind of headline news. In fact, I could even say that the Michael Jackson controversy is almost as old as I am. So that really does say a lot that, like, over the years, people would be talking about it for so long. And I mean, one thing that we can all agree on is that, yes, it is true that Michael Jackson is a weird individual. Like, this guy is crazy. And if you look at Neverland Ranch, it really does prove it. Like, it is, like, Neverland Ranch in general is whimsical to the point that it would make people uncomfortable. Like, seriously, you look at Neverland Ranch, and that place makes the room that I'm in now, it makes it look like a bland office cubicle. It is insane when you look inside Neverland Ranch. Holy freaking crap. But the thing with Michael Jackson and all these, these allegations and accusations, they have been going back and forth for so many years, where we would see Michael Jackson's reputation go up and down like a godforsaken roller coaster. It really has gone insane with that. And, the crazy thing is that it really did become hard to determine rather if he actually did it or not. For many years, it was a godforsaken mystery. Because the thing is, when you would do your research to see if Michael Jackson actually would do it or not, like, you would actually find a lot of great evidence that would say that he did do it, that he is a creepy pedophile, and he deserves to burn in hell. But then at the same time, you would find a whole lot of other evidence that would actually say that he's actually innocent. These are all false accusations, that's not true at all. And even, like, the kids themselves, like, they're kind of crazy in their heads as well. So it really does say a lot that for so many years, we've seen this controversy go left and right. But now this time, we are seeing some consequences, especially because of the Leaving Neverland documentary. In fact, there is something that I really want to bring up, because this was something that just happened yesterday. That I had some family members over, and we had a dinner, and we had a nice chat. We were mostly talking about the vacations that we went to and just exchange all that. It was a really nice moment. But there was at one point when the subject of Michael Jackson would actually be brought up, and one of my family members, he actually mentioned how, because of our current culture, not because of the documentary, but our culture, that's going to be the final nail in the coffin of Michael Jackson's reputation. Where even though this has been going on for so many years, we are in the age of the hashtag #MeToo movement and the age of social media, where whatever you have done in the past, like, there are much bigger chances now that it could come back to haunt you. And especially in this case right over here, and especially, like, with social media going around, we are in an age where people are pressured to go and pick a side regarding a subject, where they would actually end up being more pressured to be either on one side or the other, to say if Michael Jackson did do it or if he didn't do it. And in the case of Leaving Neverland, they got a massive advantage, where we are also in an age where, regardless of what you've done in the past, your actions will have consequences. Even though you have done an action for, like, in decades ago, the consequences could return several years later. That could actually happen. And with the hashtag #MeToo moment, it would enforce that. And even though, like, with the case of the Michael Jackson controversy, even though that one is a lot more of a mystery than many of the other sexual allegation cases that I would talk about in this podcast, like, even though there are some that are clear that, yes, in fact, they did do it, like John Kricfalusi, John Lasseter, Chris Savino, or just recently with Vic Mignogna, with Michael Jackson, some could argue it is a mystery, but with this documentary, it looks like the side that Michael Jackson is guilty, that side is legitimately winning. And it really does help with the fact that the person who would defend himself, Michael Jackson himself, well, he can't. He's dead. He cannot defend himself. So because of that, and especially with the culture that we live in, it looks like people are going to become more and more accepting of the fact that he is indeed guilty. And we are seeing some legitimate consequences that are going to be happening in this case, where not only this, not only the fact that the Simpsons episode that is going to be removed. Like, not only the Simpsons episode is going to be taken off the air and taken off everywhere, it's going to be like a legitimate banned Simpsons episode, but also the fact we are seeing other stuff going on, like we're seeing radio stations, they're pulling off all Michael Jackson songs, and especially we are seeing the popularity of Michael Jackson songs in general taking a massive dive, where now listening to Michael Jackson music is no longer popular. And I do understand the argument about separating the art from the artist, but sometimes it can be a little bit difficult, like especially in this day and age when you would bring up the subject of Michael Jackson. Of course, nowadays the first thing that people are going to be thinking of is going to be regarding what's been said in the documentary Leaving Neverland, which I will say on record right now that I have yet to see the documentary, but I have recorded it on my television, so I know that eventually I will be checking it out. But yeah, overall, this is a pretty controversial topic, and yeah, it has divided a lot of people, even though more and more it looks like we are going to be in the side that we're going to be a lot more accepting and finally close off the answer that maybe, yes, indeed, Michael Jackson did do it. He is an absolute weirdo, down to the point where he even would want to sleep with young boys. That looks like it is going to be a legitimate case right now, and people are a lot more accepting with that fact. So maybe now we're going to see a whole lot less of Michael Jackson going on. I know that we would have our phases where we would be so in love with Michael, especially after Michael Jackson's death, where we praised him as the beloved pop star right now. But honestly, I think those days are pretty much over. And now we are going to fit Michael Jackson among all those creepy people, like among one of those sexual predators, like with Harvey Weinstein, with Bill Cosby, with John Lasseter, with Vic Mignogna, with Kevin Spacey, with all those guys. So honestly, it is crazy, but I feel like with this controversy in particular, I feel like this is going to be one where people, like, yeah, this is going to be a pretty divisive discussion piece. This is going to be something that, honestly, your feelings about this would most likely be equal to your feelings to the Michael Jackson controversy. And I know that there are people right now, some people could be indecisive, but now there are going to be more people in the woodworks that are going to be coming out thinking either if he is completely innocent or if he is completely guilty, or if this move right over here is necessary for The Simpsons to do. So it is a very controversial topic, and even for me, I would consider myself indecisive. Again, I have yet to see Leaving Neverland, and I haven't fully done the research myself in terms of if he actually would do it, so I can't really have a full-on opinion to actually say if Michael Jackson actually did do it or not, but it is pretty crazy. And I'm not gonna lie, though, I will admit that I will miss this episode. I do remember Stark Raving Dad is actually pretty fun. It was actually a pretty enjoyable episode. Thankfully, I do have a DVD with me of season 3 of The Simpsons that I can actually just go back to, so I'm one of the lucky ones that actually does own Stark Raving Dad. But the funny thing about this, well, maybe not necessarily funny, is that, but sadly, I will miss the episode. It did bring me a lot of joy, but at the same time, I do understand why the people at The Simpsons would have to do this. And especially the fact, like I said before, this is coming from the guys who did The Simpsons, who are fresh out of their controversy of Apu. Like, now that people move on from that, it is a bit of a shocking move. So this is honestly pretty... So yeah, this is one where it really is shocking that they are doing this, and it really does emphasize how times really have changed, and now the popularity of Michael Jackson really is going down to the point that now, yes, there are some legitimate consequences that are going to occur. Now, again, this is not necessarily the first time that consequences have been taking place. I almost forgot to mention that this is not the first time that a company decided to take down something that's Michael Jackson related because of these allegations. Right back in the beginning, when the accusations were first brought up, when like the first batch of kids would appear and say that Michael Jackson touched them inappropriately, Disney actually decided to step up and completely remove Captain EO from all their theme parks. So that I do believe that was the main reason why they had to remove Captain EO, because Disney wanted to separate their association with Michael Jackson. So the Simpsons are pretty much doing the same thing here, especially after the documentary of Leaving Neverland. So regarding how things are going to be with Michael Jackson's future, if nobody is going to be listening to Michael Jackson music anymore, I guess we'll have to wait and see. But yeah, honestly, this is one that I do feel like it is shocking, especially coming from the people of The Simpsons. So, with all that said and done, I would like to go into the chat wall, and I want to go and ask you guys, what do you all think about this decision here? About The Simpsons' choice of getting rid of Stark Raving Dad? Do you think this is the right decision? Do you think this is the wrong decision to do? Do you think Michael Jackson is innocent? Do you think he's guilty? Are you indecisive on this? Let me know what you all think. Alright, let's see now. Keep in mind, I do understand that Michael was a weird person when it comes to kids, but I do feel like sometimes people would just take it too far on the internet. I would rather just ignore it and just carry on listening and watching Michael Jackson. Alright, that would be your choice. Let's see now. Wasn't there a South Park episode that shows Michael Jackson sleeping with the kids? I think it was called The Jeffersons. With that, will that get pulled just like the Muhammad episode? Does it mean that the Do the Bartman music video will get pulled as well, since the song had backing vocals provided by Michael Jackson himself? Okay, to answer that question, the element of South Park, I would say no. The reason why they had to get rid of Stark Raving Dad was because Michael Jackson himself was involved with that episode, because the Simpsons want to get rid of their association with the person himself. South Park, that's just a satire. I don't think Michael Jackson was actually involved with that episode, especially if it's involving Michael Jackson sleeping with kids. So I think the South Park episode would be fine. But in the case about Do the Bartman, considering that Michael Jackson was involved with that, I think they would pull that off too. If they're going to get rid of Stark Raving Dad, then maybe they will also get rid of Do the Bartman. Let's see. Do we have... Oh, right. Oh, we also got this. It's not just The Simpsons that's affected by the allegations. Radio stations all around Australia and my home country, New Zealand, have completely stopped airing Michael Jackson songs. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised if Netflix would cancel their upcoming stop-motion movie on Michael Jackson's pet monkey, Bubbles, as a result of it. Oh my god, dude! Oh my god, I never thought of that! That is so true! Okay, for those of you who don't know, Netflix is actually, like, one of the upcoming animated features that are going to be in development at Netflix is going to be a stop-motion animated feature from the people that brought you Anomalisa, that's going to be about Michael Jackson's pet chimp, Bubbles. Holy crap, you do bring up a good point. I don't know. I have no idea what they're going to do with it. Holy crap, that is true that some people are going to be like, "Oh, they're going to rewrite the Bubbles movie." I think they're going to full on cancel the Bubbles movie. That could be a possibility. Holy crap. I never thought of that. Okay. Wow, that's gonna be nuts. Yeah. Okay, yeah, I think, honestly, I'm gonna say this right now, there could be a good chance that the Bubbles movie is gonna be canceled. They're gonna get rid of that thing entirely. It's gonna suck, but what else can they do? If Netflix wants to get rid of their association with Michael Jackson, then they gotta get rid of Bubbles. Holy crap. That was something that was mind-blowing. I never thought of that. It was like, oh man. You know, considering that we are seeing a lot more consequences, Yeah, Netflix has to do something with Bubbles. We might actually hear something about the Bubbles movie, that's for sure. Holy crap. Oh my god. Okay, let's see. Let's see now. Here we go. I'm pretty mixed with the crew's decision, as I do have mixed feelings of Michael Jackson and enjoy his music. At this point, I'm starting to get sick and tired of people's past actions end up destroying their reputation. Well, I mean, I'm not approving any sexual misconduct that Michael Jackson or what anyone else has done, but the point I want to make is that we are forgetting that we are all human and we all make mistakes. But the problem, we want to keep magnifying everyone's flaws that these people have committed. Okay, dude. Listen, there's a fine line between making mistakes and stuff like Michael Jackson has been accused of. Okay, let's say Michael Jackson did actually do it. Because the thing is, a mistake would be saying a lie. A mistake would be telling someone a little white lie. That, oh, where are the cookies? Oh, I think we ran out of cookies. When in reality, you know where the cookies are and you did not run out. That is a little mistake. Michael Jackson slept with young boys. That's a felony. That's a freaking crime. We can't just let that thing slide. Are you insane? Like, of course, that is something that if you didn't, like, that truly is something that if you've committed something bad in the past, then the consequences will eventually get back to you. That's the thing with the #MeToo movement. Because many of these things are pretty much criminal. They are abuse of power. Of course, like that's the thing, is that they have committed a crime in the past. And because they got away with it then, that doesn't mean they're not going to get away with it now. It's to emphasize how your actions have godforsaken consequences. So that's the thing, is that this isn't just a little mistake that Michael Jackson has done. He has committed a freaking felony and ruined the lives of many people. So that's the thing, dude. You can't just say like, oh, can't we just move on from the past? No. Your actions have freaking consequences, okay? We can't just let people like Vic Mignogna or John Lasseter or Chris Savino, we can't just let them slide because of what they've done in their past, because they could still be doing it in the present. So that's the thing, guys. Seriously, it's not like a one-time thing that Michael Jackson has done this. It has been ongoing. It's just insane, guys. Okay. Let's see. Maybe we'll have one more into this. I'll slip in this. Let's see. No. Just want to read one more. Alright. This is honestly pretty sad for the case of Michael Jackson. I actually do like the music in Captain EO and some of his other works. I can even say I was sort of named after him since Michael is my middle name. But still, will they ever pull out even to Moonwalker with some awesome segments and Will Vinton's animation? Now, it just got even more sad that they might even take out that. Yeah. I think it is safe to say that you are no longer going to see Moonwalker aired on television. In fact, you are never going to see Moonwalker be released on DVD or Blu-ray or on streaming services ever. I think that is a safe bet. I don't know what's going to happen with the future of Bubbles, but I can guarantee you that the reputation of Moonwalker is pretty much dead. So I can guarantee you that. Okay. With all that said and done now, I think we are pretty much good with this controversy right over here. We can go and move on to this. And, we have been onto some pretty insane cases. We have seen some pretty crazy stories about Michael Jackson and Kevin Tsujihara. I think we need something to brighten up the mood. You know, how about we do that, guys? Let's talk about something more enjoyable, something a little bit more fun. So let's go ahead and talk about something that, actually, you know what? Mentioning Moonwalker, it actually is a great transition because now we are going to be discussing about Will Vinton, more specifically, the documentary of Will Vinton, which seems that it's going full swing, where now the documentary, Welcome to My Daydream, has gotten some new partners with them, and some companies that are going to be more than happy to work with Welcome to My Daydream, including XYZ Films and Starburns Industries, where they are going to be collaborating with Mark Evans, the creator of the documentary, in order to bring this to life. And in order to help out, in order to make sure that this documentary would really go full swing and be prominent in film festivals. We actually did get some quotes here, reading from my source here on Deadline. XYZ Films would state, we are so happy to be working with the team to bring Will's story to the screen. We knew Mark was the real deal after watching The Glamour and the Squalor, which was his previous film, and we've been looking for the right project to do with Starburns. This came together very organically. And Starburns Industries also stated, we are honored to help share the story of a trailblazer in the world of stop-motion animation, whose influence on pop culture is undeniable, and without whom the medium would not be what it is today. And on top of that, even Mark Evans himself decided to bring out a little bit of a quote, saying that, as fans of both companies long before having this chance to work with them, I'm absolutely thrilled to be working with XYZ Films and Starburns Industries. We have ambitious ideas for this film, and I couldn't think of two better companies to partner with to help execute our vision. So that's pretty much the main thing that is going on, is that the good news is that for the documentary, Welcome to My Daydream, they now have production companies that will ensure that this movie will go full swing. And on top of that, on Kickstarter, where the project pretty much began to take notice and a lot of people would pay attention to it, there was actually a message from Mark Evans where he did mention to people that this thing is actually going on, that there is this partnership between XYZ Films and Starburns. And on top of that, Mark Evans even brought out a bit of an update on what's going to be going on with the documentary on Welcome to My Daydream, and when is it going to be complete, and when are we going to be seeing it, hopefully soon. He has stated, which I'm just going to be reading on the side, he stated that the documentary aspect of the film is about 95% complete. So he's almost done with that element of the documentary aspect of the documentary in itself. But that doesn't mean that he is fully done with the movie. He still has a few more things, and those are some of the more creative aspects in order to complete. The first of which that he has to do is going to be some reenactments, some moments of Will Vinton's life that he wants to bring back to life with actual actors and stuff like that. And the second one would actually be some animated segments, where there would be this inside-out style scene, all in claymation, of course, where you got two brains that are pretty much, pulling off some skits in order to present what Will Vinton was thinking about during that moment in his life. So there are those creative elements that he has to do, but I just want to say on the side that I could not be happier for Mark Evans, because these are two companies that are absolutely perfect for this documentary. Because first of all, we got XYZ Films. XYZ Films, they're actually very well known with documentaries and distributing them far and wide. Just going back to my source on Deadline, it states that the pick comes as XYZ readies its latest documentary project, Framing John DeLorean, a hybrid pick that stars Alec Baldwin as the iconic automaker. It bows at the Trifecta Film Festival next month and hits theaters June 7th via IFC Films. Its documentary, Electric Boogaloo, The Wild and Untold Story of Canon Films, bowed last month in Toronto. So XYZ, they really do specialize in these documentaries, so they know how to handle something like Welcome to My Daydream, and hopefully this would mean that the documentary will be highly prominent in major festivals, like maybe at Trifecta, or maybe we will see it at Annecy or Toronto or stuff like that. So we'll cross our fingers and hopefully we'll see it be prominently displayed at these festivals. But then we also got Starburns Industries, which, funny enough, going back from what I was talking about last time with the whole Michael Jackson controversy, this is actually the company that brought us Anomalisa. And on top of that, they have produced plenty of other animated projects, not necessarily stop motion, but this is also the studio that would help out in making Moral Oral and even Rick and Morty, which is currently their most popular animated project that they have worked on. So with Starburns Industries, they are going to be a massive help with the creative aspect. I'm sure they'll probably give out a lending hand in terms of the live action reenactments, but especially it's going to be with the stop motion elements where they are going to be a big help, that they would give out a lending hand to know what to do with the stop motion scenes and to execute them very well. So it's going to be very nice, and I'm sure that Starburns is going to they're going to do a great job with it. So this collaboration of both these people is going to be a big boost for the documentary, and I think this really is going to be something that Mark Evans is going to be looking for. And now I really do have high hopes and massive anticipations for how this documentary is going to be. It's going to be quite an ambitious one, and especially sadly, considering how Will Vinton has unfortunately passed away last October, I think this is going to be a great and welcoming tribute to Will Vinton. So I think this is going to be fantastic. I cannot wait to see this coming out. And on a side note, I just would like to add with the documentary that this is actually going to be finished. Mark Evans actually predicted that there is a possibility that it is going to be done sometime in the fall of this year. So hopefully it will be soon. If not, then worst case scenario, it will be sometime in 2020 or something like that. Well, early 2020, but we know that, I could say for a fact that in approximately 1 year's time from now, we will see this movie be complete, and hopefully in the 2020 circuit of festivals, we will see Welcome to My Daydream go around. So hopefully this is going to be an awesome project. All right, so with all that said and done, I think I'm pretty much good with this story. There's not a whole lot to say, but I just want to bring up some good news and bring up some enthusiasm regarding the documentary. So I want to go into the chat wall, and I would like to ask, what do you guys think so far of the progress of the Will Vinton documentary? Are you guys excited for it now? Or do you have any concerns about it? What do you think of the addition of XYZ Films and Starburns? Let me know what you guys think. Let's see now. Do we have any interesting things to say? Let's see. I really am glad this is going to be a documentary with stop motion. Hopefully this would finish this year and we'll get to see this movie. Well, I'm just going to say that chances are we're going to see the movie in 2020. I think that could be stated as a fact right now, considering that there is good progress right now. And I'm with you. Hopefully we will see this documentary soon. But it does make sense that you would add in some actual stop motion in a documentary about a man who created stop motion, or the man who has basically revolutionized the stop motion industry. So yeah, honestly, I think it's a great idea. And the factor that we do have the people from Anomalisa, that they're going to be in charge of this, honestly, I am pretty excited about it. And you know what? I think honestly, it does, it might shed some light on some of the previous stories as well. In case Bubbles gets canceled, well then, the animators can just go and move on to working on this. They can work on the stop motion for Welcome to My Daydream. So, hey, everybody wins in this case. Alright, let's see now. It sounds interesting. I love stop motion, so this might be fun to see. I look forward to this documentary. Oh, you better, dude. Oh, trust me. I'm excited for this as well. Do we have any other comments? Let's see. Do we have anything else? At least with his legacy will finally be made, and his final works, hopefully, this will be made as the greatest thing he has ever done. Well, this isn't going to be made by Will Vinton, but this is going to be a great tribute to Will Vinton. Let's see. I may not know a lot about Will Vinton, but I'm interested to learn about his works, and associating stop motion sounds like a great addition. Well, I can say right now that if you want to learn about Will Vinton now, I do have a video online all about it, with Animation Look Back, the best of stop motion on Will Vinton. You can check that out. Okay, and, someone did bring up, just to go back a little bit on the last story, yeah, it is true that, Netflix, wait. Oh, no. Okay, no, never mind. Sorry, it was like, oh, this is a completely different thing. Okay, never mind. Okay, moving along. Let's see. With all that said, I think we're pretty much good with this story right over here. I think this is going to be all good and done. And now it is going to be time that we are going to finish off this entire thing with the grand finale. So we do have one more story to talk about. And this time, it is going to be a bit of a bonus miscellaneous. And this time around, I decided that I wanted to go and highlight this story, mainly because it really does bring up a perspective that not many people would think about. This is not necessarily about someone who created the meme itself, but rather the perspective of the person who created the image of the meme. And for those of you who are watching, I'm just going to say there's going to be some disturbing imagery, so there is a little bit of a warning before you enter into this. And this is not a joke. I am actually quite serious on this. So for those of you only listening, well, consider yourself lucky, guys. Okay, so what I'm going to be talking about is actually going to be related to the Momo challenge. And apparently what happened is that the artist who actually created the image of the Momo challenge, he has revealed that he destroyed the sculpture. Yeah, and by the way, this what he has created is actually the sculpture of it. And for those of you who don't necessarily know what is the Momo challenge, well, I'm just going to say right now, the good news about all this is actually the fact that it is a hoax. This is not real, but apparently, it's something on social media, like rather it be like a series of videos or a post or some kind of message board or something like that, where there would be these kids and teenagers, they would go and contact Momo, and Momo would tell them to do some very harmful things, rather it be committing a crime, or rather it be doing some actions that might lead to suicide. So there is this big creepy hoax that is going around, but thankfully it has been revealed that none of this is actually real. However, in order to try to emphasize this hoax, they would use this creepy image of this like smiling person with eyeballs that are popping out, and like the smile is like unnaturally large, where like it kind of gives people the creeps. But with that said, even though this is just a hoax, even though all this is not real, the creator of the image of the Momo challenge is a Japanese sculptor by the name, a Japanese sculptor, not a sculpture, a 43-year-old sculptor, Kaitsuke Aiso. He stated that he just proclaimed right now that he wants to ensure that people can get a sigh of relief that the sculpture that he created, it is gone. it is pretty much dead. He threw it in the trash. It is completely destroyed. However, I would like to emphasize, however, that he didn't destroy it as a response of the Momo challenge. It's not because of the Momo challenge he decided to go and destroy the sculpture. The thing is that apparently the sculpture itself, it was not meant to last. In fact, he actually destroyed the sculpture long before it was even a thing. Or not the sculpture itself, but I mean long before the Momo challenge really got popular in the mainstream. He actually threw it last fall because the sculpture itself, it was made of rubber, it was made of oils, it was made of all these things that were not supposed to be permanent, and the thing was like rotting, and it was probably in a worse condition than this, so he had to throw it out. He had to take it away because that thing was rotting, it was probably smelling bad, so he had to put it in the frickin' trash. And also, on a side note, even though a lot of people would recognize the face, they would all see this face, you never saw the full body of it. And honestly, this completely changed my perspective on Momo and all that kind of stuff. I thought it was like some kind of freaky Grudge or The Ring type figure. But it's not really that, because when you look at the sculpture itself, okay, you'll see here, so you see the creepy face, but what's even more is that you look more down, holy crap, it's a chicken! It's a creepy face on a chicken's body. Like, you see this face, like, you got this face here, and like this blob of a body right underneath, and then you have like this combination of chicken legs and arms, and that's what it is. It's supposed to be this combination of a human and a chicken meshed up together. You know, honestly, just looking at it is like, wow, for some reason this is less intimidating than I thought. Maybe this is like some kind of, like, maybe this is like the cousin of the teacher from Jimmy Neutron, like, Shade, you can't bring Ultralord to class. My cousin isn't a fan of Ultralord. Holy crap. Like, that's the thing. People were scared of people were literally scared of a chicken lady. Momo is a literal chicken lady. So why did he create this? Well, apparently there is a legitimate reason. Stated here from my source on Unilad, it states that the artist said that the inspiration behind the doll was an old Japanese ghost story in which a woman who died in childbirth returns as a bird to haunt the area where she died. So that's the thing. What you are seeing here is actually a recreation of a ghost, where the woman died of childbirth and now she's going back. Like, you wake up, you see this chicken thing walking around. Like, what the fridge? It's like, you honestly, like, it looks like it's just 2 or 3, it's like 2 feet tall. You can kick the frickin' thing. Like, what the, it's like, it's more, like, honestly, I look at this, it's like, okay, this is no longer scary. This is just weird. This is one of the weirdest ghosts that I've ever seen. Okay, so, with that said, going back to the subject that I was talking about, going back into the Momo challenge, ISO also expressed his thoughts about the whole situation, about the entirety of the Momo challenge, and the fact that it is related to one of his art pieces. He has stated that, I've had mixed feelings about the people who have done this. On one hand, they have caused me nothing but trouble. But on the other hand, as an artist, I have little sense of, I have a little sense of appreciation that my art piece has been seen across the world. I guess I have to be grateful in that sense. I created this artwork 3 years ago, and at the time when it was exhibited at the gallery, it did not receive much attention, so at the time I was very disappointed. So when Momo first appeared, it was good in a way that it had received some attention. I was pleased. But the way that it has been used, it's now very unfortunate. People do not know if this is true or not, but apparently the children have been affected, and I do feel a little responsible for it. I feel like I am in trouble, but it's all out of my hands. So this is the reason why I really want to talk about this, because we don't ever get to see this kind of perspective from someone, where you would see this meme becoming this massive trend, and it would become so big that it would get completely out of hand. And this perspective right over here is that, considering how this image of Momo is, well, this image is completely associated with Momo. Like, people would view this and they would think, oh, this is Momo. Like, the guy would feel like he is responsible for this because he created this image. So in return, he feels like part of him is responsible for creating Momo. And honestly, it does suck. I think, like, the one good thing that I could say about this is that thankfully he didn't, like, some people misinterpret it as destroying it because of the Momo challenge, which is not the case. He actually just threw it out because, oh, well, like, it was already garbage as it is. It was already, like, dying in itself, so he had to throw it away. So at least, like, the reason why it is destroyed, it has nothing to do with the Momo challenge, so that is the good news. But honestly, I don't blame him for feeling that way, for having this sense of guilt that in some way, shape, or form, or inadvertently, like, he is connected to something that is honestly horrible. Like, the whole thing with the Momo challenge, like, even though it is just a hoax, it is still pretty bad. It is still something that people were absolutely shocked on the internet about, over the fact that this did legitimately existed, and it went viral all around the internet. And it is unfortunate, and I don't blame him for him feeling that he did play a role, considering that his art piece is actually literally the face of the Momo challenge. Even though, I'm just going to say right now, none of it is his fault. He has nothing to do with the Momo challenge. He did not create the Momo challenge himself. Like, he is 100% innocent in this case, but considering that it is related to his art, I don't blame him for feeling that he did play a part, even though that wasn't his intention at all. He didn't make this sculpture because he wanted to do it for the Momo challenge. It was for a completely unrelated thing. So honestly, for me, I do feel like the person who is really paying the price here, at least emotionally, really is this sculpture, because now his art is associated with something that is purely terrible. And this is not necessarily the first time that this kind of thing has happened. Like, with so many different memes going around, it's not necessarily their fault that this is really that much of a thing. Like, imagine if you got the old animators coming back to life. Imagine how they would feel about memes like "somebody touch my spaghetti" or "Big Chungus" and stuff like that. But probably the best example that I can think of an artist who is affected by a meme that was completely out of his control is actually Matt Furry. Now, if you don't know who Matt Furry is credited to be the creator of Pepe. You're probably familiar with the meme Pepe the Frog, that weird, the weird frog with the giant squinty eyes, and sometimes you'll see him, like, on the side going like, "Oh, it feels good, man." Like, you're probably, like, I assume you guys would probably be familiar with Pepe. And by the way, I'll just drag this down so it could be chicken to the chicken lady, so at least the face itself won't scare you. But anyways, back to what I was talking about. The aspect with Matt Furry and Pepe, like, it did start to become a bit popular. It did become a bit of a meme that people would use and they would relate to and stuff like that. So it did gain a lot of traction there. But then suddenly, it really got out of hand to the point that things turned out literally for the worst for Pepe. Where it would start to be used by conservative people. But then suddenly, far-right would be using it. And then suddenly, you got Trump supporters using it. And then suddenly you got extremists using it. You got legit right-wing extremists, literally domestic terrorists, would be using Pepe as a meme and frequently using it kind of like their icon in a way. And by domestic terrorists, I literally mean people like the alt-right, men's right activists, Proud Boys, like all the, like Ku Klux Klan and even neo-Nazis actually using Pepe for their own use. And because of right-wing extremists using Pepe so much, Pepe literally became the internet meme equivalent of the swastika. It was actually registered and recognized as a symbol of hatred. And going back to Matt Furry, did he like that his own creation is now a symbol of hatred used by Trump supporters and right-wing extremists? Hell no! He despises it. He hates that. So much so that, like, not only does he hate it, but he is even taking action. He is suing anyone and everyone who is actually profiting out of Pepe the Frog as a symbol of hatred and going after them with a copyright infringement. And he's going after the big boys, keep in mind. Like, he's legit suing the alt-right and he is suing InfoWars. Now, this is an ongoing process, but this is a big thing that Matt Furry is gonna go in order to at least save the reputation of Pepe the Frog, to get him away from being considered a symbol of hatred. And hopefully the far right would legally no longer use Pepe as their icon, as their symbol, as their mascot per se. They couldn't use that anymore. So hopefully there would be that day that Pepe the Frog can be viewed as a peaceful meme instead of a symbol of right-wing hatred. So hopefully that day would come, and I do wish Matt Furry the best of luck. But it does show the perspective, again, it really does view the perspective of the artist who created the image of the meme, where the meme itself can get out of hand and the meme itself can become entirely different than its intended purpose. But in the point of view of the artist, you can't blame them that they would feel responsible, considering that they created that image, that they have inadvertently played a part in that thing. So I really do not blame ISO for feeling guilty about the whole situation with the Momo challenge. But honestly, like, you know, on a side note, I just want to say, with the factor of what's his first name again? With Keisuke ISO. You know, honestly, you know, at least looking at the Chicken Lady that he has done, he is actually a really good artist. You know, this is something that it is creepy, it is believable, and at the very least, like, yeah, it is giving him some exposure, and I guess that is the one good thing that is coming out of this meme. But, you know, it really does show that, like, at least with this, it does show that he has some great talent. It does show that he is capable of making some great artwork and some great sculpture. So hopefully there could be some more good that could come from him in the future, and I really do wish him the best of luck, and hopefully he can move on from this whole Momo challenge mess. But yeah, honestly, I really do sympathize with how he feels about the Momo challenge. None of it is his fault, but I do understand his perspective of how he would feel guilty. And it really does say a lot about the internet culture, where when you would take someone else's work and you would completely twist it into becoming something else than what the creator originally intended to. I mean, that's the thing, is that even though it would be great to have a meme, you never know what's going to happen. You never know what someone is going to do and take a random image from one of my videos and use the image of AniMat to become something that would be completely different beyond my control, and I would be recognized as something completely different. And I mean, like, this isn't the only one. It's not just ISO, and it's not about Matt Furry, but also, like, another great example would be Lindsay Ellis. Even though Lindsay Ellis, a lot of people might remember her as the nostalgia chick, or as one of the more popular popular video essayists that focuses on film studies. Like, the most popular thing that she is known is actually because of a meme where she has, like, a whole bunch of hot dogs being thrown at her. And right now, she even mentioned that, considering that that image was actually used without her permission, even in promotions for the movie Isn't It Romantic, she is considering to go and sue them. So honestly, the reason why I wanted to highlight this story is to give out it's to bring out a perspective of a group of people that you would never think of when you would see a meme, and that is the artist behind the image of the meme. So hopefully people would be more careful and maybe a little bit more considerate, looking more into like that kind of history. So that's kind of the big thing we're talking about in this. So yeah, honestly, hopefully the Momo challenge thing is dead, and hopefully we can move on. And I really do wish ISO the best of luck, and hopefully he will find more success and more recognition for his work, because honestly, he really, say what you will, say what you will about how scary this whole Momo thing, that Momo face is scary. The dude is a legit great artist. He's a great sculptor. So I do wish the guy the best of luck. Okay, with that said, I want to go into the chat wall right now, and I want to know, what do you guys think about the whole scenario with the Momo challenge? How do you feel, honestly, does it help you, give you a new perspective on the artist who made this? What do you guys think about the artwork of Keisuke Iso? Let me just know, what do you guys think of all this? Okay, let's see now. When I first saw this, I thought it was like a womanly oviraptor. It's actually a hubum, which is like a Japanese equivalent of a harpy. Ah, okay. The statue may be creepy, but dang, have you checked the fan arts of the creature on DeviantArt? These creatures are actually cute. Well, yeah, I mean, like, you can make something like Bigfoot or the Mothman. You can make them look adorable, so there are ways you could do that. Let's see. One thing I commented on the internet doing is trying to take the hoax challenge meaning away from Momo, and instead making it wholesome memes with her face saying like brush your teeth and eat your veggies as a way to present Momo as something good. Oh my god. Oh my god, dude. Oh my god, your idea, I get what you're doing. I understand you want to make that thing wholesome. But oh my god, it just sounds like you're gonna scare people into doing that. Like, this is like, you see this face on social media saying, brush your teeth. It's like, oh crap, I gotta brush my teeth. That thing is gonna get me. Oh my god, it's like this is a face that says, are you eating your veggies? If not, then I will eat you. Oh my god. That honestly, I just find that to be hilarious. Scare people into doing good things like brushing your teeth or eat your vegetables. Oh my god. That is beautiful, man. That's just absolutely beautiful. Oh my god. Because this is a face. Yeah, this is a face that says, you better say your please and thank yous. Oh my god. Wow, that's hilarious, man. Okay. I never heard about it, but this woman chicken face looks creepy. This is something I want to take back from what I saw. By the way, it's nice Mrs. Fowl that is a nice Mrs. Fowl impression from Jimmy Neutron you made. That kind of got me that got me to laugh about it. Oh, Mrs. Fowl, that's her name. Oh my god. I was trying to figure out, I was trying to remember. I used to watch Jimmy Neutron, but I don't have much of a good memory of it. So that's who it is, Mrs. Fowl. So yeah, this is Mrs. Fowl's yeah, you could say this is Mrs. Fowl's strange cousin. Hey, shit. I'm back from Japan. This is my cousin. Oh my god. Oh, dude. I don't know which face is creepier, Momo's or that one guy from Perfect Blue. Honestly, I would say the guy from Perfect Blue would be much creepier. This thing, if she's really creepy, you could just kick it out. Like, if this thing comes to haunt you, like, rah, rah, rah. Oh my god. Holy crap. Oh my god. You know the funny thing is that, this chicken lady thing, it's like, it's like some kind of fantasy that came out of Ed's mind from Ed, Edd and Eddy. It's like, okay, Ed, what's your dream girl? I like monsters and I like chickens. Okay, so you would like to have a girl who is interested in monsters and chickens. No, I want a girl who is both of these things, a monster and a chicken, so I can love her forever and ever. Okay, Ed, well then, here, do you want this? A chicken! I will love you for all my life. Will you marry me? Oh my god. Oh man, this is just crazy, man. It's I'm glad we can at least have a laugh at all this. I do hope for the best for Kaisuke Iso, but at the end of the day, I'm glad that we can just look back and just have a laugh at all this. But anyways, with all that said and done, I think that should conclude this episode of AniMat's Crazy Cartoon Cast. And let me just say, I am so happy that I'm back because I had a blast with this episode. And I hope you guys as well had a blast with this. It was definitely a lot of fun, and hopefully we could do the same thing again next week. We'll see if we're gonna have some big and crazy episodes going on, but that will be something that only time will tell. But with all that said, though, I just want to say thank you guys so much for watching, and thank you guys for watching, thank you guys for listening, and until next time, see you later, dudes.